As we hear the music of the prelude. The third summer that we have explored in worship the gifts and practices of Celtic spirituality. Just as a reminder and an introduction as we begin today's service of what the tenets are, the general tenets of Celtic spirituality, Church of Scotland minister John Philip Newell identifies some of the distinctive themes for us. If you would like to follow along and use this as a reminder, inside the front cover of your bulletin are John Philip Newell's distinctives of Celtic spirituality. Celtic spirituality incorporates Christian teaching into the nature, mysticism, and religious practice that preceded Christianity in Britain. Celtic spirituality stresses the importance of finding a soul friend with whom each person can be spiritually honest, open, and free to explore and expand our hearts and spirits. Celtic spirituality emphasizes the goodness of creation through which God can be seen and known, so all creation embodies God. Its primary way of understanding Jesus is as a wisdom teacher. Celtic spirituality sees life itself as an ongoing prayer, and that prayer is all of life. The text that is guiding our series this year is entitled The Soul's Slow Ripening, 12 Celtic Practices for Seeking the Sacred. Today we are exploring the Celtic practice of dreaming and paying attention to our dreams. In a couple of the readings, you will hear a reference to Druids, and just my half-a-second explanation of what Druids are. Druids are ancient Celtic people who were priests, and they worship mostly through nature. Through nature, they found a connection to the spirit world. And so that's read up more. I encourage you to do that. But when you hear the reference to Druids, Druids are really ancient Celts that felt this connection to the earth and practiced through ritual and priesthood and what they called magic, the ways of the spirit.
In ancient times, dreams were regarded as signs from God, invitations to a calling bigger than we might imagine in our waking lives, and with the limits of daylight vision. Dreams give us clues and indications of our soul's unique longings. We have the dreams of many Celtic saints in written form. St. Patrick had a dream during which he was visited by an angel who encouraged him to flee his captivity. Later, he had a dream in which he heard the Irish people calling him to return to the land of his enslavement. In a story about Bridget as a young girl, a druid had a dream in which he saw 3 clerics anoint her with oil and tell her that her name would be Saint Bridget. Later, a bishop had a dream about Bridget in which she appeared as Mary. In the 6th century, Bridget began to be referred to as Mary of the Gales. Our own dreams may reveal to us our soul's deepest longing.
Children, come on up for just a few minutes. Come on. Nate, you can come on up here. Come on up here in the middle. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Great. Who has dreams? All of us do. Everybody has dreams when we go to sleep at night. Does anybody remember your dreams? Do you? Do you remember their dreams? Tell me about a dream that you had.
I had one time, I saw a dolphin and then I petted it.
She saw a dolphin in her dream and then she petted it. Wow. I wonder if that dream tells you that you're connected to nature and to other animals. Do you feel that in your heart? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rory, what dream do you remember?
I had a dream last night that I got stuck in a really, really big maze.
Oh, Rory had a dream that she got stuck in a really big maze. Whoa. What do you think that might tell you? Don't know. Oh. Well, if I had had that dream, I would think that maybe there was some sort of thing I couldn't work out in my life, whether it was an idea or a relationship or a problem or something. and I felt stuck. And what I might do is when I went to sleep or go to sleep the next night, I might say, okay, God, I need an answer to that. Help me find a way. Help me find a way through. And you notice that dreams have these realistic symbols in them, yeah? Like a maze and a dolphin. And if we think about them, we might find messages that help us in our lives, that help us with a problem or help us understand ourselves better or understand God better or understand our friends better. And so what I invite you to do is when you get ready to go to sleep, say, okay, God, I'm ready for a message in my dream. And then if you have a dream in the night, which you will, see if you can remember it the next morning. And maybe tell somebody if you feel like it. And think about what you can learn from the dreams that you have when you sleep at night. Okay? All right, you can go to class. Look at that.
Jacob left Beersheba and went towards Haran. He came to a certain place and stayed there for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place. And he dreamed that there was a ladder set up on the earth, the top of it reaching to heaven. And the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. God stood beside him and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham and Sarah. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offspring. And your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth. And you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed in you. I am with you and will keep you wherever you go and will bring you back to this land. Jacob woke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place. He was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God. And this is the gate of heaven.
All night, the dark buds of dreams open richly.
In the center of every petal is a letter. And you imagine if you could only remember and string them all together, they would spell the answer.
It is a long night, and not an easy one. You have so many branches, and there are diversions, birds that come and go. The black fox that lies down to sleep beneath you. The moon staring with her bone-white eye.
Finally, you have spent all the energy you can, and you drag from the ground the muddy skirt of your roots and leap awake with 2 or 3 syllables like water in your mouth and a sense of loss, a memory, not yet of a word.
Certainly not yet the answer, only how it feels when deep in the tree all the locks click open and the fire surges through the wood and the blossoms blossom. Celtic spirituality celebrates human imagination and creativity and invites us to open ourselves to the imagination and soul revelation of our dreams, our night dreams, our daydreams, our imaginings. Dreaming is a threshold between our conscious and subconscious selves. So dreams explore our fears and longings, processing by night the events of our days. Poet Christine Paintner writes, "Many evenings, my dreams extend only as far as the garden gate, desperate to unlatch the red and rusted hook, while others I throw away the compass and cast myself into sleep's blue boat and see where I wash ashore." I have washed ashore in some exquisite and some troubling places in my dreams. I'm sure that you have too. 2 recurring dreams have shaped my life with surprising gifts. I think this first one was both a night dream and a daydream. It both took me to that liminal space beyond conscious thinking, both day and night. Now, I've told you before that I led a choir in a women's prison in Georgia for 6 years. This journey actually began with dreams that recurred year after year. I saw myself clearly with people that I knew were incarcerated. I listened in my dreams to their stories. And the music. Well, the music in my dreams was testimony to God's redeeming love. I dreamt it night after night until it finally became a reality. This dream was vivid and explicit, and it was for me a challenge and a gift and a call. Dreams, as we know, play a significant role in Scripture. Divine direction frequently arrives in night visions. Joseph, son of Jacob, is known as the dreamer. Now, I know that many of us over the last couple of weeks have been to the Playhouse to see Joseph in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Yeah? How many have been? Yeah. Oh, wow. Like almost all of us. Well, in the lyrics to those songs, we've remembered, as we've heard again, of Joseph's dreams, of sheaves of wheat bowing down and of sun and stars paying tribute. Although I'm not sure about the theology of any dream will do. But another story. So Joseph, of course, made a name for himself by both dreaming and interpreting others' dreams. And you remember the figure of Daniel. Daniel was a dreamer too, as was Mary's husband Joseph, who has dreams around the time of Jesus' birth. The angel who appeared in his sleep told him not to be afraid to take Mary as his wife. The angel later warned him to flee to Egypt to avoid Herod's killing spree, and then again alerted him when it was safe to return home. In that world of sleep, the Spirit can come with wisdom and with warning. In today's reading from Genesis, we find Jacob running from his enraged brother Esau, from whom Jacob has stolen the birthright. He's running in greed and in guilt, and he's running for his life. On his journey, he makes a pillow out of a stone and lies down. There he has a strange dream. He sees a ladder or a ramp or something that connects earth with heaven. And on that ladder or that ramp, he sees angels ascending and descending. And so the veil is thin. And suddenly God is there standing close to this one who is running from his own wrongdoing. And so Jacob possibly couldn't have received God's presence in his conscious mind. But the Spirit came to him by night, filling his dreams with images, not of judgment and wrath, but of grace and connection. God shows up when Jacob is running from himself and his wrongdoing in the heat of the night, not to shun, but to bless. Celtic spirituality teaches us that all of life is blessing. Blessing is in the small things as well as the large. It's in our sleeping as well as in our waking. Blessing comes from our subconscious as well as conscious, at night as in day. Dreams take us into spaces that are less linear and more intuitive, less goal-oriented and more open to the deeper meanings of our life's journey. Our own dreams may seem less straightforward, more difficult to interpret than biblical dreams. Dreams are often encoded, symbolic, and even vague. They may have dozens of meanings that we can take on board into our lives. The invitation is to trust that our nights are indeed holy, and that treasures of darkness, of which the prophet Isaiah wrote, await us. In our sleeping, dreams may arrive, bringing insight and direction. Celtic practice invites us to explore those dreams, to pay attention to the symbols and to the feelings that they produce, to know that God's wisdom is present to us in holy darkness as well as in the light of day. My second recurring dream began my first year of seminary. The faces of the people in my dream were totally shrouded. The figures were covered in full bodysuits. But as often in dreamlike language, even though they were shrouded and faceless, I knew the identities of the familiar occupants of this night revelation. They were members of the wealthy country club sort of church that I was serving as choir director. Most congregants in this congregation dressed exquisitely, drove to church in their Mercedes and BMWs, and arrived with paste-on perfect smiles, ready to pray for others, but never presenting with concerns or failures of their own. Even though they looked identical in my dream, each had a placard around their neck with a handwritten declaration of their greatest struggle or a problem in their life. So suddenly, they could actually see each other and be honest about their lives. They became, in my dream, human beings with needs and failures, with unmet longings and moral struggles. When that was their reality, when that was their identity, they could finally become church. My dream recurred as I grappled in seminary with the sort of minister that I wanted to be, with the sort of truth-telling that I wanted to do and invite and nurture. That dream led me and called me. Dreams, night and day, visions, sometimes disturbing, sometimes enticing, often revealing, inviting speculation and imagination and exploration. When we descend into the holy darkness each night, may we dare to dream, to sleep with open hearts, and to wake with imaginative spirits. Again, the poet calls us. Step through the doorway into silence and dream time. Shake off the harsh light of illumination where the tyranny of answers slips away. Descend willingly into hush where you will meet your shadows, but where you will also see your long hidden, luminous face. Amen.
Amen.
I invite you to be seated to receive the benediction and the blessing of the postlude. We all dream. We daydream and we have dreams in the darkness, in our sleep. I invite us to open our hearts and to open our minds to remember, to explore, perhaps even to share those dreams, so that we may indeed receive God's wisdom and insight, so that we may live more loving and full lives. And as we do this, may we know that we do it with the power of God. May we do it with the example of Jesus who's gone before us, and with the Spirit alive and well in each of our hearts. Amen.